I kind of gotta set this up like this. Okay. So Netflix Dark, season 3. All right, season 3, episode 2. I'm going to see if I can try to remember anything. I'm trying to see if I can remember what I can even try to remember. I watched it this morning. I didn't make the video for it. So, let's also tag this. And I'll start the poll. Well, okay. Okay, season 3, episode 2. Now, one of the things is what's making it difficult to talk about it now is the fact that like you kind of just get lost in certain shit because there's literally like timelines and timeline. Well, I can't even say timelines, but technically, it was at one point they were going to different years. Like they pop up in this year, pop up in this year. What's happening like different years, and now we're in. There's another world, and so like that's something to keep track of now. So I wasn't sure. Like when they did it, and so end of season 2, Martha comes and Jonas asks her, what year are you from? What time are you from? And she's like, it's not what time are you from, it's what world am I from? Boom. She takes him to her world. Now, episode 1 of season 3 is like a remake of, or they're just redoing, they're redoing scenes and shit from like, I'm not gonna say episode 1, but yeah, particularly episode 1 and basically like season 1. And so the thing is, and it's like, mind you, it took me this long to figure out all these people's names, and now like that they have different family dynamics and shit, switching shit up. So Jonas thought that by stopping Mikkel from traveling back in time, because Mikkel is the one who becomes his father, then that like stops certain shit from happening. Well, and this one, it was Martha the other Martha. She takes him. Her name is still Martha, but she's like, I'm Martha, just not your Martha, like the Martha you think I am. So the other Martha, takes him to her world of the day when all this shit supposed to happen. Jonas now finds out like, and so at the end of that episode 1, Martha walks up to him. She was like, I've been waiting for this moment. And she was like, this is the world without you in it. Mikkel doesn't travel back in time to become your father. You don't exist. Apocalypse still happens. So that's a thing, right? Now, at the end of episode 1, I thought like, I had a question. I was like, okay, well, are we still going to have to keep track of this world or whatever because, uh, like, was it just trying to prove a point of saying like, okay, just, I thought I wasn't sure if it was like just trying to prove a point that, yeah, like just because you don't whatchamacallit, shit's still gonna happen, whatever. So episode 2 is like, yeah, we still have to deal with this. I'm like, shit. So in so for season 3, in this other, I don't know if we want to call it another universe, another world, alternate universe, whatever. So Martha, Magnus, and Mikkel are still brothers and sisters, but their mom is Hannah and not Katerina. And Ulrich is married to Hannah in this timeline, and Hannah is also pregnant. Now, I think, or something, or I'm not sure. Like, this is what I'm still a little bit confused about, because I think I don't know, man. This is what I'm trying to watch about, bro. This is why I didn't want to learn this next one. Cause I feel like Katerina was like, okay, after whatchamacallit, y'all gonna spend time at your dad's house. So I'm not sure if, but all I know is that Martha does tell Jonas like, Ulrich is her father and he's married to Hannah or some shit. Bro, I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure that part out. I guess they're gonna clear that up later. Anyway. So most people still do exist, and if they have any type of deformities, it might be like a different deformity, but they still got a deformity. So Helg, in the original timeline, Ulrich goes back and hits him with the brick. That's why he had the whole, as a kid though, that's why he had to whatchamacallit. So in this one, he still got like a messed up face, but it's not the same whatchamacallit. It's a little bit different. He's the one who ends up having dementia. And he's still just as tick-tock, tick-tock. It's gonna happen again. Elizabeth, which is the chief police officer, Charlotte, it's her daughter, but in this one, she can speak. In the first one, she couldn't speak. And then Francesca, well, I don't know who's Francesca's parents are. That's the thing. Francesca and Magnus still get together in this one, but Magnus has tattoos. But this time Francesca is the one who can't speak. So there's that. Voller, the guy with the eye thing, instead of the eye, he's missing an arm. Ulrich and Charlotte are still at the police station, except this time in season 1 and 2, Charlotte is chief police. Ulrich, I'm gonna just call him an inspector because that's what they call him, inspector. In season 3, in this alternate world, Charlotte is inspector type shit, and Ulrich is chief police officer. And Ulrich and Charlotte are having an affair. They be getting it in. They say, don't poop and pee in the same place. You're not supposed to mess with people that you work with or whatever. Don't eat and shit in the same place. But fish do it every day. Anyway, so there's that. So I don't understand what the hell is going on between, I don't really understand Ulrich, Hannah, and Katerina's dynamic in this one. Ulrich is still having an affair, but he's having an affair with Charlotte, the police lady. Katerina, I think, still runs the school. So, I don't know. But, so, this is why it's difficult to talk about. So, the other Martha, she pops back up in they're in 1888, and Jonas is trying to. I'm just talking past tense. What I know now. Jonas. It seems like Jonas is trying to still work on the like time machine or whatever. But they're in 1888. So in episode 2, season 3, episode 2, basically this is what Bartosz. So the season 3, episode 2, because I wasn't sure they're going to continue with it, but they are. So the other Martha wakes up, and Jonas is in her room, and he's like, "Get dressed." He walks out, whatever, right? So she basically kind of tells him like, "Oh yeah, well, in my world, this, and this, and that, da da da." So, because one of the things was Jonas looked at her, because when he seen her in episode 1, he was like, "You're still alive," and she was like, "I'm Martha, but I'm not your Martha." And so they keep saying that. She said that a couple times. She's Martha, but she's not your Martha, right? So now the other thing is, in episode 1, or was it this episode? It might be this one. No, I think in episode 1, there's like this old man, and I think he's blind, and he has a cane, and he's like, I forget what he said. He didn't say too much in the first episode, but in this episode, he was like, uh, y'all running late. The machine's not up and running yet for the day. And he's like, y'all running late. The machine's not up and running for the day. And then he can't, I'm not sure if he's all the way blind or partially, but like he goes up to the other Martha and like rubs her face. And he was like, oh, you must be the reason that he's in a worse mood than he usually is. And he's talking about Jonas. But when he comes in, Jonas like walks off and storms off, whatever. Then I'm trying to figure out, because like it'd be subplots. There's main plot, subplot. There's a whole bunch of shit going on. So then this is story time. Story time, right? Well, what I saw on Netflix. I recommend it. I'm on season 3 now. So then, like this blind guy, whatever, he has a cane. His cane says, "Sigmundus creatus us," whatever, and which basically is, I'm not sure if that's Latin or whatever, but it's like, thus the world was created. Sigmundus creatus est, and thus the world was created or whatever. And so like that's one of the things that be on the door, the time travel door, and a whole bunch of shit. He has a cane, and it says on his cane. So I'm gonna just say this part because since this is the part I do remember. Bartosz looks at the other Martha, and he was like, "I gotta show you something." And so he goes, and she follows him, and he's like, "Yeah, Jonas is basically trying to rebuild it from the time machine or whatever, from scratch." So basically, the man Jonas, I'm trying to make sure who he was with. I think he was with them, cause like at the end of season 2, yeah, the way season 2 like ends, like basically like the apocalypse shit happens, but everybody kind of like time travels at the same time. And so I'm trying to remember, the people in the bunker is one thing. And I'm trying, from who I can remember was in the bunker was like Elizabeth and Peter. Elizabeth and Peter were in the bunker. I know that for sure. I can't. I'm not. I gotta figure out about that. Who else was in the bunker? Uh, but then like Magnus. I'm trying to remember. Was it Francesca? Nobody asked. Magnus, Francesca, and Bartosz, Jonas. I'm not sure if they're all together when he time travels, whatever. But basically, at the end of season 2, it was Jonas was like, no, Bartosz is telling the other Martha, like, basically, he tried to save us, but he didn't know what time we was gonna get put in, and that's why they're in 1888, and he's trying to rebuild the time machine from like memory or whatever, and so he's like, but the thing is, it's kind of hard to like nuclear fuel and certain shit, right? Nuclear fuel, energy, certain whatever. He was like, it's kind of hard to get that in 1888. You know what I'm saying? Like the power plant and certain shit just doesn't exist yet. So them trying to do it to make the time and travel machine shit is just is a thing, right? And so Bartosz tells the other Martha this, but then she's like, I forget how or why or whatever. Anyway, they mention the other Adam. No, they mention Adam, and Bartosz was like, "Who's Adam?" Or I'm not sure if he knows who Adam is. When it comes to Bartosz, I'm not sure if Bartosz knows who Adam is or what. But the other Martha basically tells him like the other Adam is Jonas. So like that's how it kind of like I think episode 2 ends. Kind of sort of, and then it's like remember you guys just gotta kind of happen like what's happening in different like years or whatever. So Katerina, when the whole thing happened, Katerina was going through the caves. Katerina ends up going back to 1987. The thing is, Ulrich got locked up in 53. So in 80, so her version, her husband, Ulrich, that got locked up, he got locked up in 53. So now he's like older and whatever. So, but she's trying to like go through the town and the police and trying to figure out, okay, where is he? Because I think she runs in, I think she goes to the school and she sees the younger Ulrich and they kind of like brush her off or whatever. But then like the young Hannah looks at her and is like, well, yeah, there was this madman that got locked up or whatever. And so she goes to the asylum. She goes to the police station, then she goes to the asylum. When she finally gets to the asylum, she sees Ulrich and she's like, I'm gonna get you out of here. So at the end of this episode, she's like standing at the door like that she has to like leave, but I don't know how she gonna get him out of there. I don't know. Boom. But the thing was like that is her Ulrich. You know what I'm saying? He just got locked up and he's been, you know what I'm saying, boom. Then what else? I don't think what else happens. I still don't know who Noah technically. Oh, so Elizabeth and her father, they were in the bunker, and so they're looking for the other survivors or anything like that. So they go out in the morning, and they, I guess they find a wall, like I guess on the military base. And this is one thing, because earlier in the show, you figure out that there's a part like that's just closed off. You can't go onto this area or whatever, this restricted area. So what ends up happening? Now you kind of see like, so this is before that, and I don't know, but they like wake up. Peter and Elizabeth, they both wake up. He shows the the military guy something, and he lets them on the whatchamacallit, and look at this wall, and now on the wall is like all these pictures, and I guess these are pictures of like survivors or like uh, people's bodies they found or whatever. And so, but like he doesn't see his wife Charlotte, he doesn't see his other daughter Francesca, and he tells Elizabeth this, and yeah, he was like, well, that's good news because that means that they're potentially still alive. He's like, that's good news, they're potentially still alive. So that was the thing, right? There's good news, they're potentially still alive. What else ends up happening? Good news, they're still alive. Francesca ended up, but you know that Francesca ended up time traveling with Jonas, and Charlotte was in the bunker. So I'm trying to remember who was all in the. Ooh, yeah, Charlotte was in the bunker. Cause she like the whole time portal shit opens up, and Elizabeth and Charlotte both. Now the thing is, now speaking with what I know now, that Charlotte does know her, but no, that Elizabeth does know Charlotte, but Charlotte doesn't know her. So like, but they both end up, whatever. The other thing that's mentioned, Charlotte is still alive, but I don't know who she's with. And she's in the year 2053. Charlotte's still alive. She's in the year 2053. Still don't know what's going on with this whole Adam situation, Jonas becoming Adam and that whole thing, da da da. And we're not sure, I'm not sure who's a good character, who's a bad character. Trant, which was Ulrich's dad, because they're like now it's just like you gotta just kind of like tap in and just talk about certain characters. Claudia, right? Claudia was the one who ran the power plant. But when she started running the power plant and started time traveling shit, she started boom, boom, boom. She trying to put shit together. The old woman version of her, got shot already. But the old woman version of her already got whatchamacallit. But it's that adult version of her. She went to see Regina, and she sees Regina in like 2019, 2020. And she was like, yeah, it's me, and it's that, boom, boom. And this is Regina as she's older. And, she wants to apologize to Regina, for vanishing and why she left and shit. But this Regina has cancer. So, but she time travels with her somewhere. I don't know, she on some timeline, whatever. And Regina is like laying in his bed, and Claudia still like goes in and out, and she was like, I'll be back before sunrise, before sunset or whatever. Because Regina looked at her like, you leaving again? And she was like, I'll be back before sunset or whatever. And Trant, which is Ulrich's dad, he was always weird because he was vanishing and shit. No, I'm trying to also figure something else out. Because that just reminded me of something else. He was always vanishing and shit, and we don't know what the fuck he had going on. But he pops up and puts the pillow over Regina's face. And he's like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and things have to happen as they always do happen, this and that third. And her, right? Because I think one of the other things about Regina is the fact dad. Okay, yeah, because this is another like thing that happens in the within the episode, like, because the subplots and the family drama and this and that, boom, boom. So Mads, which is Ulrich's brother, had went missing. Trant is not Ulrich's granddad, is he? Trant, I don't. Trant. Okay, shit. Trant is not Ulrich's granddad. Excuse me for saying that. Trant's he's not Ulrich's granddad. I think he's just Trant's. I think Trant is Ulrich's dad, right? But basically, because there's another part within this. I don't know her name either. Mads, Ulrich's mom. Ulrich's mom is mad about them having a funeral, but there's no body. And I'm trying to think, is that Trant? Shit, see, it took me so long to figure out everybody's fucking name. Basically, I'm gonna just say the father, though. I think this is still, I'm gonna just say Ulrich's dad right now, for right now. I think the thing is, though, is that, because she starts drinking. She starts drinking, and she says something, mentions something. Oh, she was like, tell them where you were on the night that their son went missing. Okay, thank you. Boy, because this is the whole thing. As it says, there was a part when Ulrich was sitting back looking at the evidence, and he was like, why did you lie? He's talking about his mom, because he was like, Dad wasn't home when Mads went missing. I remember this because it was me and you, and he wasn't there, right? So she was like, you was out fucking that bitch or whatever. You was fucking some other woman or whatever, right? He was like, so that was in another episode, another season when Ulrich figures out and comes out whatever, right? But in this episode, she was like, tell them where you were on the night that our son went missing. And he was like, what? And she was like, you was fucking that other woman. And so then he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She gets up and puts all, like, she dumps like just a whole bunch of shit out. And he just like, and whatever, right? So I think from what I'm trying to put together is that Ulrich's dad, I think his name is Trant. He was having an affair with Claudia, and I think that's Claudia's dad too. I'm not fucking sure. I'm really not sure. There's a whole bunch of who be messing with who and this and that. Like, there's a whole bunch of like shit that could have. The reason I say this is because Egon, which is the police officer, who locked Ulrich up in the 50s, and, this and that, boom, boom. No, he's Claudia's dad. Okay, yeah. They don't know who Regina's dad is. And so they're kind of like basically saying, from the way the plot's going, that Regina's dad is also Ulrich's dad, but it shouldn't have happened or whatever. I don't know. That's what's basically kind of going on. That's what she says at the funeral. And so, yeah, then then, because the thing I'm basically gonna say is like, if Trant if that is Trant, because I'm trying to think if he's the person who come back and put the pillow over Regina's face. If and because at that point that means that's his daughter. I don't know. What else? That was another thing. I'm trying to think like that just because I was trying to remember like shit that happened. That was a whatchamacallit. Them being at the funeral for Mads and her saying like that he was having an affair. So basically he would be the dad for Regina, which is one of the reasons like Regina. So he would have been at the thing with he would have had to had an affair with Claudia. And the other part of it is there's a part where, because you know at this point with the power plant, Claudia is time traveling back and forth in and out, and she's, you know what I'm saying, boom. So I think his name is Tron. Whoever Ulrich's dad is, he goes and he's looking for her and she's not there, whatever. But then he's like driving. Another thing, when they be driving, I guess because it's a small town, but it ain't never no traffic. It ain't never no traffic. So he's driving though, and Regina's walking down the street, and he's like, you know, can I give you a ride, you know? And so she gets in the car, and he's driving her, and but he started asking about her mom, which is Claudia, which is the one that he had been having an affair with. And he was like, you know, did your mom ever just that third? And what make it awkward or weird is when he's like, did your mom, because you know her mom is basically like vanishing, like in and out, or like her mom just went, her mom is gone now. Her mom just it's just for weeks on end because she's time traveling. He's like, did your mom ever like mention me? And she was like, Regina says no. So that's the part that like makes it kind of weird. And then Regina was like, yeah, I'm just gonna get out up here and I'll walk the rest of the way. So like that's a whole thing. So about who Regina's dad is and certain shit. So this is season 2 I was alright. But now it's getting kind of hard to keep track of everything going on. It's hard to keep track of everything going on because it's different. You got 1953. Well, now we deal with 54 because it's like now past the apocalypse shit. And so 1953, 54, 1986, 87, and then 2019, 2020. Trying to keep track of what's going on in all those. But I think we're no longer keeping track of like 2020-ish. I'm not sure I'm not sure what the transition between what really just happened right there with the whole right. There's that. And then you also got the future. So it's the 1953. Because mind you, it was also 1921 at one point for a little bit. We had to keep tracking like what's happening in 1921. Which would be a few years. Because now they're in 88. 21 plus 12. Okay. All right. Basically, I'm trying to figure out why they got to the 88 shit. So, 1921 is where you see the old ass Adam, which is Jonas. Which they keep trying to go back and forth between two. 1953, 54, 1986, 87, and then 2019, 2020. So now we gotta deal with 1888 in this other fucking timeline. So, but yeah, at the end of this one, the other Martha tells Bartosz who Adam is, which is Adam is just Jonas. So that was what I'm gonna call it. Charlotte is alive, but she's in the year 2053. And you're low-key like seeing the making of how Elizabeth becomes like a ruler, leader of that whatever, whatchamacallit. So, man. Yeah, it's down the rabbit hole. It's a lot going on, bro. It's a lot going on. It's still fucking raining, bro. It's still fucking raining. Okay. This was Netflix Dark Season 3, Episode 2. As you can tell, for the most part, I'm understanding every fucking thing. I got it all down packed and whatnot, for the most part. The plot, characters, da-da-da. Ooh. Yo, it's raining more. Oh, yeah. Yeah,